Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:07 on O'Connor and Company. Good morning. Thanks for starting your week with us. It's the 21st day of July, and we are ready to roll, coming off of a big, busy weekend in your nation's capital. Coming up at 6:35, we're going to speak with the president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund here in Washington, D.C., Jason Johnson. The commissioner of the D.C. Police has been suspended for apparently changing crime data to make it look like crime is down in Washington. So I don't think that's a one-off. I think that happens in a lot of these cities to make things look better than they really are. 7:05 brings us Joe DeGeneva, and boy, oh boy, are we going to talk to him about Tulsi Gabbard's drop of a bunch of documents that show that the Russian collusion hoax scandal leads right to the door of President Barack Obama. Coming up at 7:35, Ian Pryor out in Loudoun County. Brand new document dump there from America First Legal shows that Merrick Garland's memo about domestic terrorist parents who went to school board meetings, it all came from the White House, obviously. And then at 8:35, Greg Pemberton, he's the chairman of the D.C. Police Union. That's a loaded morning ahead of us, Julie Gunlock. Are you ready? Are you buckled in?
I'm ready. Good morning.
Good morning, Julie. By the way, you weren't here on Friday. You missed the announcement. Trying to boost morale here on the O'Connor and Company team. I'm going to take all of us out to a Coldplay concert. Thought we'd all enjoy it. And
awkward.
Hoping by the way, no spouses invited. No. Just
okay. Is that the last time we have to hear a Coldplay joke now?
Yeah. We got to talk about it more.
Oh God.
Did you see? Actually, it's a new trend now. Immediately, baseball stadiums all around the country, they have the Kiss Cam, right? That's how this whole thing started. Yes. Well, now baseball games have a Coldplay Cam, where the camera finds couples, and the couples are all in on it, where they're like snuggling in the same position, and then as soon as they're on the camera, they all hide. It's hilarious.
Yep, it is great. And they had, I don't know which game it was, but they even had the. The stuffed animal thing.
The mascots.
Thank you.
The Philly Fanatic. Yes. The Philly Fanatic.
That's right, the Fanatic.
Up at the Phillies game. There was another game I saw. I think it was a minor league game where the mascots were getting into it too. It's great. It's great. See, this is why I love America. We all get the joke. Yet at the same time, you're right.
Nothing funnier than infidelity. I mean, come on.
The timeline on this joke may be running thin. No, I think it's good for America to mock such things. I think it shows they're not laughing at infidelity. They're laughing at the people involved and mocking them for. All right,
I get it. I think I'm ready to move on.
Yeah. All right, then we have another sports-oriented story in our timeline. Then let's move right to it. That's right. Sing it loud and sing it proud. Hail to the what now? Hail to the what now? Braves on the warpath. Are we allowed to say that again? That's right. Hail to the Redskins might be back. Maybe. Let's see. But, the Redskins famously changed their name during the Summer of Love, BLM, riots that took place. God. And the backstory is the Federal Express, one of the major sponsors for the Redskins at the time, in fact, had the naming rights on the stadium. They demanded that the team name be made because corporations all went woke, right, at that time.
Right.
And they said, that's it. We're not going to be associated with this team anymore. And the ownership at the time, Dan Snyder and his group, buckled under and changed the name, even though Dan Snyder promised that he would never, ever change the name of the team, changed the team name to the Commanders. Although first, if you remember, for 2 seasons, I think it was, they didn't have a name at all. They were just the Washington football team, generic, and then they changed it to Commanders. So Donald Trump put out a post on Truth Social this weekend on the 20th, so that was yesterday morning, and said the Washington whatevers should immediately change their name back to the Washington Redskins football team. He called them the Washington whatevers, Julie.
Yes.
There's a big clamoring for this. Likewise, the Cleveland Indians, one of the 6 original baseball teams with a storied past, Are great. That's right. They're the Guardians now, right?
It's so awful. Nobody likes it in
It's
Cleveland.
bad. Our great Indian people in massive numbers want this to happen. That's true. If you poll Native Americans, they want the names restored. The
Yes.
Redskins, I'll never forget going to an Indian reservation in Nevada. Meredith and I were going on a hike out in the Red Rock Canyon or something. And we went to, stop and get some gas. And you go in and they have this big, giant Indian reservation owned, sort of their version of a Buc-ee's. And there's Redskins gear everywhere in Las Vegas, in the outskirts of Las Vegas. Redskins everywhere. They love it. They love the team name. There's a high school in Seattle, Washington, I think it is, on an Indian reservation, and their high school team is called the Redskins. In fact, it's the most popular mascot for Indian
honestly,
reservations.
And I don't care if this is controversial. I don't care. They made the mascot for the Redskins look like a warrior. I mean, they didn't make fun of him. It wasn't like the fanatic, some furry, bulbous thing running around. I mean, they made him look like a warrior. That dance he would do on the field, his profile on the pictures of the Redskins. I mean, you don't get more tough guy than that.
The logo, the face logo, absolutely. And by the way, that logo was designed by a Native American back in the 50s or 60s, I think. The dance, I don't think they ever had someone dressed as an Indian dancing. I could be wrong about that, but I think you're thinking of the dude for the Florida State Seminoles. He dances out on the field, I think, on a horse.
Not for long.
All right, back to Trump. Our great Indian people in massive numbers want this to happen. Their heritage and prestige is systematically being taken away from them. Times are different now than they were 3 or 4 years ago. We are a country of passion and common sense. Owners get it done. He followed that up, specifically targeting the Redskins, saying, "My statement on the Washington Redskins is totally blown up, but only in a very positive way. I may put a restriction on them that if they don't change the name back to the original Washington Redskins and get rid of that ridiculous moniker Washington Commanders, I won't make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington." What? That's right. Trump has to sign off on this thing, I think, because it's federal land. There's a deal in place through Congress, but I think that the final details of the stadium deal have to go through the Oval Office. And now he's threatening. He says, "I won't make a deal. I won't make a deal for them to build a stadium in Washington. The team would be much more valuable, and the deal would be more exciting for everyone." Now, he doesn't have any sort of sway over the ownership of the Cleveland Indians, but he did call out the owner of the team, Matt Dolan. He said, who is very political, has lost 3 elections in a row because of that ridiculous name change. What he doesn't understand is that if he changed the name back to the Cleveland Indians, he might actually win an election. Well, I'll tell you this. If you're just thinking cynically of a team owner for a major sports franchise, which, by the way, you should always think cynically about them because they really do only care about money. If they do change the names back, the amount of T-shirts and baseball hats and jerseys they will sell is astronomical.
It absolutely is. And look, it's just absurd to suggest that there's some today that there's some racial motive there in calling them the Redskins. It is just a historic name that, again, most Native Americans, a vast majority of Native Americans, want it to be returned to. It's just absurd to suggest that those are the motives today. Yep.
Boy, what a difference a presidency makes, though. When Barack Obama was president, his Justice Department actually I'm trying to remember if the Justice Department sued the Redskins or if there was I believe it was the Justice Department, or at least threatened to sue the Redskins for having a racial slur. Had to go to the Supreme Court. There was a Asian music group that I believe called themselves the Slants, and they were told that they couldn't perform in certain clubs because the name was a racial slur, and they said, "No, it's not. We're Asian, and we don't find it to be a slur." And it had to make its way to the Supreme Court, and they won. And then it ended up sort of calling off the dogs on the Redskins. And the last poll that the Washington Post took had something like 79% of the football team's fans want the team name to stay. as well as any poll that you look at for Native Americans. So maybe this will happen. Maybe Trump will actually make it happen. It would be a miracle. I still think they're going to keep that name Commanders, but they're going to bring back the logo, and that will be a compromise. That great,
there you go,
iconic face of the Native American team. But we'll see. We'll see. That would be an amazing thing. You tired of the winning? All right. It's 5:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
That was not a rhetorical question. Are you, in fact, tired of the winning?
No, if you're talking to me.
Thank you. I am, generally speaking, I'm talking to you. It's a good time to take account of the winning, because yesterday was the 6-month anniversary of the Trump inauguration. And
wow,
sadly,
gosh,
it happened.
It's only been 6 months.
I know. It's only half a year. 3.5 more years to go. No, it's okay. We'll have a Virginia governor's race in there and a midterm election race in there, and then, of course, a presidential election in there. So it'll go by fast, I promise.
Good grief.
That said, because it happened on a Sunday, it got buried, sadly, in the news. All the Sunday shows should have been focusing on a look back at the 6 months. But it's been the White House put out a exhaustive list of achievements, and it is pretty impressive. Let me try to tackle some of these. You ready? You can interrupt me anytime you want.
Okay.
They lead off with the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, delivering the largest tax cut in American history, increasing Americans' take-home pay by as much as $13,000, and ending benefits for at least 14 million illegal immigrants who were gaming the system.
1.4.
Then they show off that Congress passed Trump's historic rescission package, which finally got passed and signed by Friday. That's $9 billion in wasteful spending, including defunding NPR and PBS. Can I pause there for a second?
Yes.
Did you ever think this will happen?
Never.
Defunding NPR and PBS?
Never.
There are two things that Republicans, my entire adult lifetime, Republicans promised every time. They put us in power and we'll do this. Defunding NPR, and they never did it. And drilling in Anwar. They got that done back in 2017. Trump got that in the reconciliation package, where they threw that in, and drilling. And no Republican before Trump was able to do that. I mean, those are just two relatively minor things.
The things that stand out for me are also speaking at a pro-life rally. Trump's the first Republican,
the March for Life.
That always strikes me as something that sets him apart from all these, the grown-ups in the room, the grown-up pro-lifers, right?
Right.
You have an entire, I'm sorry, I want to go down this list, but you have an entire set of pro-life Republicans in this town, that are sort of establishment, who won't even, condescend to look at Trump, much less praise him for it. And we've got Dobbs and we've got him speaking, and he is the most pro-life president we've had. Sorry, keep going.
Great point. No, you're right. The wholesale price of eggs down 53% since Inauguration Day, 62% from its peak in March. The economy has added a net of 671,000 jobs since January. Native-born workers have accounted for all of the job gains. Native-born employment increasing 2 million, while foreign-born employment has fallen 543,000. I thought these were jobs that Americans don't want to do. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol encountered just 6,000 illegal immigrants at the southern border in June. That's a new record low, 15% lower than the previous record set in March. Also, 0 illegal immigrants released into the United States on parole in June, compared to 27,000 a year before under Joe Biden. Administration ramped up deportations, breaking a record for the number of deportation flights in the month in June. President Trump's self-deportation push has also been a massive success, with roughly 1 million illegal aliens having already self-deported, and over 600 known and suspected terrorists have been removed from the United States. ICE has arrested over 100,000 illegal alien criminals, including 2,700 members of Tren de Aragua. Over 2,700 members of that gang let in during the Biden administration have now been arrested. The U.S. reached its fastest rate of new oil and gas drilling permits in years, exceeding the Biden administration by 44%. Core inflation has tracked at just 2.1% since Inauguration Day. Summer gas prices reached their lowest point since 2021, and inflation adjusted are actually at a 20-year low. I can go on. Here's one. Trump's deregulatory efforts saved Americans $180 billion, $2,100 per family of four, with the rollback of automobile-related rules alone expected to save consumers more than $1.1 trillion, plus a historic agreement for NATO members to raise defense spending to 5% GDP. Foreign policy feat long thought impossible. They thought it was impossible for him to...
Another one of those.
Yeah, another one that, well, to be fair, not many Republicans promised to do that because they didn't care.
Right.
But this is one of those things that everyone said he couldn't do. Yeah. It just goes on and on. It's an incredible 6 months. I'm contemplating writing a book about these first 6 months. It has been extraordinary.
The obliteration of Iran's nuclear program, kind of important.
Yeah.
A ceasefire between India and Pakistan, unbelievable.
U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, and Space Force all reached their recruitment goals months in advance.
Yes.
Landmark legislation, including the Genius Act, the Halt Fentanyl Act, the Lake and Riley Act, and the Take It Down Act. S&P 500 and NASDAQ market indices have reached multiple record highs. I'm trying to find the bullet point on protecting women's sports and banning the use of federal funds for mutilation procedures. Oh, here it is. Hospitals and hospital systems across the country have halted so-called gender-affirming care for minors following the executive order protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. President Trump's February executive order and a slew of universities and school systems have stopped allowing men and women's sports, including University of Pennsylvania, the Virginia High School League, and the University of Maine system.
Yeah, but that's okay. In Northern Virginia, they're still allowing it. So
yes, I'll say. Quite an anniversary. We'll discuss this more, as yesterday was the big day. So today's the first day of the second half of the first year of President Trump's presidency.
And they're not slowing
it's starting with the Washington Redskins name being restored. So onward and upward. It's 5:24.
Coming up, we're going to give you an update on this story of a D.C. police commander changing crime stats to make it look like crime is going down in D.C. Anybody with a half a brain cell knows that is not true. So we'll look into this latest story. Keep it here. It's 5:30.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
Less sordid than a Coldplay concert and more informative than, a Stephen Colbert monologue, that's for sure. It's O'Connor and Company on this Monday morning. Thanks for joining us. Coming up at 6:35, Jason Johnson of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund talk about this brewing scandal that we're going to talk about in just a moment. The D.C. police commander suspended for apparently changing crime statistics to make things look safer in D.C. than it really is. 7:05, Joe DeGeneva. 7:35, Ian Pryor. And then at 8:35, we'll follow up on this brewing scandal with D.C. Police Union President, Chairman Gregory Pemberton. It's Larry O'Connor alongside Julie Gunlock. Good morning, Julie.
Good morning.
You've seen the stories, I'm sure. Violent crime in D.C. is down 25%. Overall crime down 8%. The source on those statistics that you'll see in local news reporting is the D.C. police. And now it appears that that source is, corrupt. According to the D.C. Police Union, there was a directive to change offense classifications from the command staff in the Metropolitan Police Department. Michael Pulliam has been placed on paid administrative leave. This goes back to mid-May, by the way. This was the D.C. police commander who was responsible for delivering the crime statistics for the district. It happened a week after Pulliam filed an equal employment opportunity complaint, by the way, against an assistant chief, and the police union accused the department of deliberately falsifying crime data, according to 3 law enforcement sources. The union claims police supervisors in the department manipulate crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably compared to last year. Now, Pulliam was the former commander of the 3rd District that patrols Adams Morgan and Columbia Heights, was placed on leave with pay and told he was under investigation for questionable changes to the crime data. That's according to 5 different law enforcement sources. The story that I'm referencing is from News 4. Isn't that astounding?
It is so depressing to think that a member of law enforcement would do this, because this hurts his community. Yeah. It is a complete rejection of what he is supposed to do, and that is protect the people. And by altering these crime stats, you're conveying to politicians everything's a-okay. It's really depressing to me, because we're so for the blue. We are such supporters of police, and I know obviously this is not indicative of sort of every police officer, but it really is sad to hear that this police commander has done this.
Well,
allegedly.
It also harms his brothers and sisters in uniform. Of
course.
Because if the stats show that, hey, crime's down, then the cops don't get the resources that they desperately need. And that's the position that Greg Pemberton took. He's, of course, the chairman of the Fraternal Order of Police. He'll join us at 8:35 to talk about it. He said, when our members respond to the scene of a felony offense, when there's a victim reporting that a felony occurred, inevitably there's going to be a lieutenant or a captain that'll show up on the scene and direct those members to take a report for a lesser crime. So instead of taking a report for a shooting or a stabbing or a carjacking, they'll order that officer to take a report for a theft or an injured person to the hospital or a felony assault, which is not the same type of classification. And it's all to make the politicians look good. It's all to sort of show crime data being better than it really is. As of last Monday, News 4 spoke to Greg Pemberton, and D.C. crime data showed violent crime was down 28%, and the department's website said violent crime is down 25% compared to the same time a year ago. It's preposterous, Pemberton said. There's absolutely no way crime could be down 28%. Last year, they suggested it went down 34%. This is a trend, too. By the way, Gavin Newsom is out there because he's running for president saying that California has lower crime than states like Florida, and he always picks a red state. And it turns out, city of Los Angeles, city of San Francisco, they don't report any of their stats to the FBI. So the FBI just sort of estimates what the crime data is. And it's not real. We know that crime is worse in those cities. You can tell just by looking at the headlines every day.
We know what politicians do with this data. They use it to gaslight the citizens of that city who are watching the crime happen or victims of the crime. And they use it to push back on, most often, Republicans who don't want to defund the police, who want to increase funding for the police, who have sympathy for recruitment and retention problems. This is why this is done, so that Democrats can say, no, you're wrong. Your eyes are lying. It's obvious right here in the crime data.
Yeah. Well, listen, like I said, we're going to pick this apart a bit and get some more information behind this and see what the larger trend is and why they're manipulating this data, whether it was possibly a command from the top down, even further above this commander. Maybe the police chief was in on it. Maybe it came from the mayor's office. At 6:35, we'll speak with Jason Johnson, president of the Law Enforcement Legal Defense Fund and former deputy commissioner of the Baltimore Police Department. And then at 8:35, the chairman of the D.C. Police Union, Greg Pemberton. Right now it's 5:43.
WMAL, making sense of the border, because laws either matter or they don't. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
I'm sorry, Julie. We have to talk about the Coldplay story. It's the law. The CEO caught on the kiss cam there at the Coldplay concert now has gone down in internet viral meme history. Did resign his position as the CEO of the AI company Astronomer on Saturday. Andy Byron. He was caught, as the New York Post puts it, canoodling with his head of HR, Kristen Cabot. Canoodling is a word that we don't use nearly enough.
Nearly enough, no.
I might need to employ that. As I noted on Friday, how many stupid HR inappropriate behavior at the workplace seminars did this guy and this HR woman make their employees sit through?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That you had to,
I mean, if anyone should be fired, in my opinion, it's the HR lady. She's the one who is trotting out all these videos and tisk-tisking people and lecturing people. And then she does this? I don't know.
Yeah, if you're at the Xerox machine, don't you dare say that a woman's hair looks nice today or that you like her dress. No, we'll fire you for that.
Yeah, or don't be embraced from behind, right? Like maybe,
right.
Maybe that's not appropriate. Maybe you should have turned around and said, "Now, dear, I
Yeah,
don't think this
according
is
to the New York Post
appropriate."
report, Ms. Abbott's future with the AI-driven company remains unclear, but Mr. Byron has stepped down. His estimated worth is between $50 and $70 million. Strike that. It's actually between $25 million and $35 million because there's about to be a 50-50 split, I think, of all that money.
Yes, yes. I don't know, Larry. I feel like I'm not. I don't know why he stepped down. I mean, I think it's an embarrassment for his family. I get this, but it doesn't. I don't know. It just seems a little. Maybe it's just too embarrassing for the company.
I think he's made the company a punchline, number one. But number two, I think, listen, if you're the board of directors and you're evaluating your CEO based on the judgment he has in running the company and again, leading from the top down, if it's going to be, I don't know, don't you think this would compromise his effectiveness on the job as he shows up the next day?
And seeing as how it's not going away. Oh, God.
Yeah. Thank you. Although it's a fair point. I mean, he has to resign his position as an adult, which, by the way, this is going to sound crazy, but I'm going to give him a little bit of credit here in that he's 50 years old and his paramour, Ms. Cabot, Kristen Cabot, is 52. Usually a CEO guy like this, a Bill Clinton type, is going to take advantage of some 20-year-old intern, right?
We can at least... Yes, women around the world can at least celebrate the fact that he had an affair with a 40-plus-year-old woman. Right?
Yes, and not take advantage of some young woman who is like dazzled by his power and influence and money and all of that stuff. I mean, think about it. You make a good point. This guy doesn't have to step down where he was having an adult affair, albeit extramarital and completely inappropriate. But an adult relationship with another adult. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton gets to stay as president of the United States when he was doing far worse that we know of specifically with a 21-year-old intern.
Right. And I mean, look, again, there's probably a lot to say about these people's marriages. Obviously not healthy because the instant they saw themselves on screen, they ducked, both of them. They knew what they were doing was bad, right? They knew it was they did not want to be seen publicly, and obviously could not play cool because none of this would have happened if they had just allowed that camera to linger. If they had sort of laughed it off, but their shame is what gave them away.
I'm telling you. Oh, totally. They knew they were doing something wrong.
Yes.
That's what was so amazing about it and why it's become this viral sensation. By the way, I mean, again, y'all shouldn't do this. And if you're married, just, don't engage in this kind of thing. Yeah. People's lives get ruined. It's not good. That said, if you get yourself caught in the same situation and you're, in the same position that these two were in, he's behind her, arms around her, sort of snuggling, you get caught on the kiss cam, act like she's choking on something and you're giving her the Heimlich maneuver. Just, you got to think fast on your feet here, people. For God's sake.
You do. And honestly, but one thing, and you kind of mentioned, one thing they aren't talking about is her husband. Although I did see an interesting piece about how he's apparently from some Boston Brahmin family.
Yes, the Cabot family.
The Cabot family. The only people the Cabots talk to are God, right?
The Fortune family goes. The family fortune goes back multiple generations. Estimated at about $200 million back in the 70s. That's $15.4 billion in today's dollars. Apparently, they own, or her husband Andrew Cabot owns Privateer Rum.
Privateer Rum. He's probably been drinking a lot of that lately, and. Don't know much about the CEO's family, but I mean, nobody's talking aside from like this kind of interesting sort of nugget of information about him being from this Boston Brahmin family, which I mean, if you know about Boston, Beacon Hill, like there are some, these people go back to the founding of the country and, but we don't know much about his wife. So, anyway, I feel bad for these people in general, just the
families.
The
I feel bad for the kids and the spouses. Yes. Absolutely. It's 5:53.